guys. So I know I've been being a little bit quiet this last week, but I was compiling a lot of stuff in order to make this debate today. Um, as you might know, we did a debate, but only in Portuguese because that only referenced to the Portuguese situation 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've been compiling data for this debate. So I was owing you guys a debate on the status quo of the gaming community worldwide. So the main topic of this debate will be one thing: sex. How much sex can a game have that would qualify to making it be considered for adults or even above? Well, I'm not sure. Again, I apologize for the weird sounds that you guys might be hearing. There's construction right next door. My daughters are still on lockdown. Situation in Portugal has improved a lot, but not enough that warrants the kids to school. But let's do this regardless. So this is a very delicate topic because there isn't actually rules and regulations in most European countries of how much sex can a game have in order to warrant its sale only for adults. For I've been asking this actually to lawmakers and other entities for about 2 years now, and the responses have been dodgy at best, at least here in Portugal. Here in Portugal, there are two major um, agencies that can regulate this. In certain countries, there are five. In other countries, there are none. So here, the situation in Europe is complex. Um, and why do I say complex? Well, it's complex into a point that it's spinning down to ridiculous. Basically, the issue right now is that most of our uh, regulations are not meant for sex. They're meant for violence, actually. Um, and this is weird because we have games like Far Cry and Mass Effect and Dragon Age that do have non-explicit sex scenes, but it leaves very little to the imagination because it does have nudity. And we have full-on nudity with full-on sex, like the game Conan that I've done the review here on the channel. Um, but you can actually turn that on and off. Okay, there are actually servers that allow that, and there are servers that don't allow that. So there is that scapegoat. But how much is enough to qualify a sales parameter of above 16 or above 18? Well, it depends. It depends on the context of what happens and when it happens. Okay. For example, um, we have games with a very rich storyline like Mass Effect, and we have games with a very rich context like Conan. Um, on Mass Effect, it's justifiable because there are romantic approach to the concept of sex. And on Conan, there is an historic approximation to the context of sex. Back in those days, on a medieval, even primordial medieval approach, sex was commonplace. And also there has to be an an understanding that sex is indeed a normal human behavior and a normal human interaction. Um, Now, many of what I call muralists that live out of their little hidey holes and say sex is evil um, defend that video games should be for children, shouldn't be adult at all, should be this and that. I've already explained that in the past. I'm not going to go too much on that, but I'm going to say this. There has to be a limit for what sex is displayed on a video game. It cannot be, how can I put this? It cannot be explicit, okay? It cannot show everything. Or if it does, it needs to be requalified and sold only for adults. But how can we control that? We have very big retailers that don't control that. If a kid goes there, he buys the game, that's it. It's money in the pocket. But it needs to be policed. Really needs to be policed. This and violence. The next debate next week will be about violence, by the way. I'm not putting too much emphasis on the newsreel right now. There isn't very big news in the market. The console situation remains the same and will remain the same. I'll dig deeper on that in about 2 weeks, which is pathetic. But at this point in time, with very big games being remade that actually leave little to the imagination, like Mass Effect, rumors about Dragon Age being remade as well, and rumors about Star Wars: The Old Republic, also from BioWare. Uh, Mass Effect left very little to the imagination, but I'm a very big fan of the series, and it had context. It had a justifiable context for the sex to be there. There were romantic options. There were a romantic approximation of the characters. It wasn't sex for the sake of sex. Okay, um, and basically, it isn't something gratuitous, so it enriches the story. To me, that's justifiable, but will it justify Mass Effect only to be sold for adults? It would justify it to be sold for above 16, for sure. There is a lot of sexual innuendo there. There are planes and scenes that girls and boys' attributes are glorified. So I defend that it should be only sold for above 16. But again, um, classification here in Portugal is a joke. There is none. The classification that the boxes bring is the American one, not the Portuguese one. So whatever the Americans consider as moral, we just have to swallow it. Um, there should be an agency devoted in checking out the content of TV series, of movies, of this and that, and qualify it. Right now, there is an agency qualified, and that does that for movies on the cinemas, only on the cinemas. So streaming services are free to have whatever they want. And what we call here video clubs, the video rentals systems of our streaming services are also free to do whatever they want. So right now in Europe, we have countries that police this a little bit, like the Netherlands, that police almost like France, and countries that don't police at all, like Portugal, Spain, and the UK. On the UK, this last year, there have been steps taken to actually start to police this a little bit more. But how can we police? How can we um, uh, make the sales online only for adults? Well, in the case of PlayStation, Sony would have to create a system that would allow the purchases to be done by an adult, but only by an adult. Is that easy? No, it isn't. There is a lot of loopholes, a lot of laws that need to be obeyed, a lot of freedoms that need to be reviewed. And I'm not saying that it should be prohibited, but there are a little bit too much freedom on the sales online. Right now, if Sony would allow, they could sell pornographic content on the PlayStation Store. There is no law against it. There is absolutely nothing on the terms and conditions that revokes them from doing that. Just so you guys know. I've actually reviewed the terms and conditions several times these last few days, looking for something. There is nothing. Because let me just remind you this. Cyberpunk 2077, that piece of crap game, actually has a very close to full visual sex. And it was sold by the PlayStation Store. Unpoliced, unchecked, money in the pocket. Is that okay for children to buy? Well, it is it is a very touch and go theme there, because that would imply that the adult parent would consent for the kid to buy whatever the hell they want on the PlayStation Plus whenever the hell they want. Personally, my daughters cannot buy anything online without my permission because I have everything code locked. And everyone should have that too. And it would be significantly easy for PlayStation to implement exactly that. For every purchase, there would be an unique password sent to the referenced email address of the account, and that password would be unique one time only. That would help out to police accidental purchases and purchases without the consent of an adult, very much so. It would be almost cheapless. It would be cheap for them to create something like that. A lot of services already have that, but only for registration. But it is what it is. But let me just advise you that this would be a tremendous solution. But let's see what to create. This is just an idea. So Mass Effect is coming out. I'm going to do a review on that, by the way. And that game had a lot of, not a lot, but a lot of choices of sex scenes. But as I said, it is justifiable. Now, on Far Cry, there is sex scenes that are actually rapes or done under coercion. That should be very much policed. That needs to be put forward to for that game to be sold only for adults. We adults know that that is wrong, that is incorrect, that cannot happen on real life. Children can be influenced by without the supervision of an adult. Again, parents being parents can mitigate the effects of this. Um, that's about it for this debate. Um, this subject needs to be referenced by the governments a lot more. There should be agencies devoted into policing what violence is on the games and advise on um, what ages can those games be bought. How to police that on big retailers? I really don't have a solution for that. I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, couldn't find a solution. Perhaps bigger minds than mine can find a solution for that. Online purchases, I already gave a solution for that. The one-time password sent to the referenced email of the account. It would help to police and prevent accidental purchases and purchases not for that specific age. Apart from that, next week I'm going to do a debate over violence, which is very much in touch with this, but there are other considerations. I hope you guys are well. I hope the lockdowns are being lifted in your countries, because on mine is being actually lifted so slowly, and this week is actually going to be open a lot more. Let's see if next video I already do it on the small studio that I've mounted on my living room. So I hope you guys are well, so play on and keep safe.